So, all right. So before we get into this crazy episode we're about to do, I wanted to tell you real quick before it slips my mind. So I watched two movies last night.
Okay.
I watched Anemone, the one with
Oh, um,
Daniel Day-Lewis. It
yeah.
was really good.
So is that like available to stream? How'd
Uh,
you watch it?
well, I watched it. Let's
Oh
just say I
yeah.
watched
Okay,
it.
that's fair enough.
Let's just say I streamed it
Yeah. You
on
streamed
something
it.
that I.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever.
Okay.
Okay. Cool.
So it was good.
Okay.
It's a slow burn, but
I kind of got that impression.
but it's really
from it
it's a
about-
heavy story though.
Yeah. So it's like him. Like he goes to meet a buddy that he was in a war with, or something like that.
So yeah, I'll give you a quick synopsis of the movie. So Sean Bean plays his brother,
Yep.
and essentially he served in the war, came back, abandoned his wife and unborn child, and then just went out and lived in the woods for 20
This
years.
is the Sean Bean character did this.
No, this is Daniel's character.
Okay.
Yeah, which it makes total sense once you see like how he acts in this movie, because once again he's just like an astounding actor and
Right.
really dives into his roles. But so he's kind of crazy. They describe him as an estranged brother.
Mm-hmm.
But so Sean Bean goes out. He's like, I'm gonna go find him. He's like, he needs to like meet his son and like finally, because I guess what the problem, what sets the story up is their son is violent and like has a lot of issues, and he's like in
okay.
his 20s now.
Okay.
And
It's like we gotta try to help
Yeah.
this kid out, right?
and
Yeah.
they think that him essentially like talking to his son might change things, like if he got to know him a little bit.
Yeah.
But they tell, but and then once he's out in the woods with him, they kind of like tell two stories the whole movie, where the mom and the son are at home, and she's like trying to talk about him and make him understand.
Okay.
And then Sean Bean and Daniel are like
They're doing
going through
they're-
his problems.
They're doing their thing.
Yeah, they're like out in the woods. They're hunting. They go to the beach and run and swim and like do all this stuff because he's just been living out there for years. And then you find out that he was accused of a war crime, but wasn't really a war crime. But what he did has affected him his whole life now. So like something that he did out in the war and everything.
Okay.
And that kind of like sets the premise of the movie, and you understand why he's so messed up, and
Okay.
because he's just dealing with these demons for himself, and then yeah. But that's like the premise of the movie.
Okay.
Not a lot of huge spoilers for it, but like it's a beautiful movie though. Like there's a lot of wilderness shots. There's a lot of like
Yeah.
a lot of cool locations. So that was good. And then I watched The Long Walk,
Oh, okay.
which that I have.
What do you think of that one?
So I cried. I haven't cried during a movie in a long time.
Wow.
And that was really hard to watch because if you don't know, that's it's one of Stephen King's original rights.
Yeah.
One he didn't even publish until later on.
Right.
It was his first story though that he wrote. And essentially, it's this dystopian world where young men can sign up for this long walk. It's supposed to like inspire the country and help bring back work ethic and all these things. And it's simply brutal. And like 50 guys sign up for this thing, and they're walking like about almost 350 miles or something like that. And you see like the physicality that distance takes on people so quickly, and the problem that they face is you have to walk a certain speed or you get multiple warnings before you're shot and killed, and only one person can finish it. So out of 50 people, one person finishes this thing, and the journey through the whole thing is just so brutal.
Wow.
And like all these guys, none of them know each other in the beginning, but a lot of them become friends during this walk, and
You go
and
through
then,
all that together.
It's awful. And Mark Hamill plays the major, who's like leading it, and he's brutal too. But yeah, that's if it's in a way kind of a horror movie in a way, but it's very intense and very graphic. But
Okay.
that one I highly recommend. The other one, if you catch it, you catch it. It's an okay.
I will probably watch it only because I like Daniel Day-Lewis a lot. He's
Oh, and he's great. He's
fantastic actor. So yeah, I want to just see what
But
that's all about.
yeah, The Long Walk I watched that again. That was crazy. It makes
Okay.
me want to go back and read the book now. So, but yeah. But anyway,
Anyway,
the real reason we're here today is we're gonna the posting of this episode will be on Halloween. So happy Halloween. And we're getting into some serial killers today,
Yeah,
the
we
real
are.
ones.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
are. We've got some all probably all names that people have heard.
Stories you've probably all heard before. So we're not going to like go into like strict detail on each one, but
No,
we're going to kind of just
but-
talk about them and the topic in general.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah. So,
So have you watched the show Mindhunter?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so one of the people that is portrayed in that show is a guy named Ed Kemper,
Yeah.
who was a serial killer. And just for the technical sense, a serial killer is a person who kills 3 or more people within like a 6 to 12 month period.
Yeah.
For what it's worth. At any rate, so he is portrayed in that show, and he was like an abnormally large man.
Yeah,
I guess
he was.
he was like 13 pounds when he was born. So he's
Yeah,
like
he's
a
huge.
big kid,
Yeah.
big person. So he, like another person we're going to talk about, had a really strange relationship with his mother.
Mm-hmm.
Strange, but like not good.
Right.
But his first murder was he killed his grandparents
Oh, wow. I
when he
didn't
was
know that.
15 years old.
Jesus.
He killed his grandma first, and grandpa came home and he's like, well, I gotta take care of him too. So he killed him,
Wow.
and they released him when he was 21 years old. And if you watch the show, you kind of get a feel for this. Like, he was really good at like psychological manipulation.
Yeah.
So he basically convinced everybody that he was rehabilitated, and so they actually expunged his record.
That's
he
crazy.
murdered 2 people.
What year was this?
The first murder, that grandparents, I want to say 1970. No,
Okay,
not
so in the 70s.
1972. Earlier than that,
Okay.
I think. But so yeah,
That's
like,
still crazy.
so like late 60s, early 70s. Yeah, so he
Expunged
convinces
murder off his record.
Yeah, you just like wiped a murder, not just one person, 2 people.
Yeah.
Yeah, off your record, man. You're good to go. So they let him go. So then he ends up killing like 6 more women, and he preys on like college age kids. This all
Right.
happened in California. And he would like kidnap them and then like throw them in the trunk of the car, take them out to some remote place, shoot them, do all this. And he was into like really, he did like really heinous stuff to these
Yeah.
corpses, like necrophilia,
Yeah.
decapitation, and like I don't know, I don't remember if they talked about this or this was a part of the Mindhunter show, but one of these people that he killed and decapitated, he like took the head home, the head home, and would put it on a shelf, and he would like yell at it like it was his mother, because like
Oh, Jesus.
his mother, he and his mother had this like crazy, like explosive, toxic relationship. He like hated his mother,
Yeah.
which I think is probably what contributed to his feelings about women.
Right. Which
Naturally,
kind of has a record for a lot of these guys.
100%.
It's kind of the same kind of
Oh yeah.
breadcrumb trail.
Yeah.
If you might. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. So yeah, so I'm trying to see. Let me just take a quick look and see if there's anything. Yeah, that's about it. I mean, literally, he did all that, like those other 6 women outside of his grandparents, in like a 12-month period. He
Yeah.
just, like,
Yeah, that's crazy. Which I think, because this is an earlier one, if we want to talk about people who not only inspired the horror franchise for what we have now, but also the serial killers of like the 60s, 70s, 80s. Ed Gein was our first like major like labeled serial killer in history, at least in the U.S.
yeah, I mean Yeah, I think as far as like historically speaking, in terms of record keeping and what have you, I think he's probably the first person that.
Yeah, and not really like, I don't want to like give him any kind of absolution or like defend anything he did, but like he essentially on record was only
He was like
two
convicted
people,
of two people.
killed like two people ultimately.
Convicted of two killings, yes.
But to give a little backstory, so like this is like 1906 when he was born.
Yeah.
Raised by his mother, Augusta Gein, and George Gein, whose father was a drunk. He was a pretty simple man. He
Yeah.
did every kind of job he could to just keep the family afloat. And then, due to his alcoholism and everything, he eventually died.
And he was abusive though too, because Ed
Yeah,
had
he was.
had a brother,
Henry, yeah.
and he was abusive to them and the mother.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, the mother, emotionally and physically abused her husband and her children. And she was very religious
Yeah.
and brought them up on this idea that women are lustful and sinful,
Yeah.
and that no son of hers would ever be with a woman.
Yeah.
And she just had this like very strict ideology of like all women are evil, and even like and like being against sex and everything and all, and
Right.
essentially like her even becoming pregnant was a sin to her, and having children. But things got a lot worse once George had passed away. So after him passing away, her entire persona got a lot worse. And then Ed, being the younger brother, was like manipulated into like having her as an idol in her life. And he went to school. He was always a weird kid. He once he finished high school, he went back, as I think he went right back home. It was just living under his mother's wing again.
Yeah. And after his dad died, he was just like doing like menial jobs, just like whatever.
Yeah,
like,
so they're in Plainfield, Wisconsin. So like they're on a farm.
Yeah.
He's very handy.
Yeah.
He even got hired in town a lot to do handyman jobs,
Yeah.
and everyone in town knew who he was. He was just kind of like the smaller, simple person, kind of weird, but no one ever really like.
almost like the Sling Blade type of
Kind of, yeah,
character. Not,
exactly.
Maybe not quite that level from a mental capacity standpoint, but
Right.
very kind of similar.
Yeah, and so like up until this point, into like his mid 20s, to because at this point Henry and Ed are living at home in their 30s with their mother Augusta, and there was no history of violence between them specifically.
Right.
She was always punishing them in ways that like she even like tried to prevent Henry from going off and getting married. And
she had some she had some really weird rules, because there were some things about them also, even just like interacting with other people.
yes, yeah,
Not just women,
Right.
but just other people.
which is why Ed grew up without any friends.
Yeah.
because
because it was like you go to school, and when you're done with school, you get your butt back here, and
Yeah.
we got stuff to do, and you just keep your it's kind of like that idle hands or the devil's plaything kind
Yeah,
of thing.
right.
Like you need to do all these chores, and you need to be working and
yeah.
keeping yourself occupied kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And so eventually, there's a big fire on the farm, and authorities are called in, and they find Henry dead on the property, and pronounced him dead as like smoke inhalation
Yeah.
as his cause of death, even though he had a major blow to the back of his head.
But he was found outside.
Yes,
right?
outside.
Correct? Yeah. Right.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
And Ed was never questioned on it.
Yeah. They just sort of said it was an accident and just
Right.
moved on.
Which at this point we assume that he did it. I mean,
Yeah.
who else would have done it?
But that's weird, because it's like, why
Right.
would he have done it? But I think it's like he had this such a strange relationship with his mom, almost like this love-hate kind of thing.
Yeah.
But also, I think he also had this desire to be like the one that she wanted or liked or loved
Right.
the most, kind of thing.
Yeah, and the monster show, they portray it a way. I don't know if there's quite a few things in the show that are not correct.
That's
They,
what I've heard.
they
I
added
haven't
a lot
watched it
to it to kind of make it,
yet.
more dramatic. But in the show, they show him that Henry is talking badly about his mother, and that he's going to leave and go get married. And then
Wow.
Ed talked about this when he was questioned and before his trial, that he had these like moments of where he kind of like days out, like kind of.
And that is also a
which
common,
went into like his grave robbing thing too.
yeah, and that's also a common thing that you hear about with a lot of these serial killer people. It's like a trance almost in some
Yeah,
ways for a
yeah,
lot of them to hear them talk about it. You
it's
know, and
strange.
that's a pretty common thread.
Yeah. So, um, so now, and after the passing of Henry, Augusta has her first stroke, and then it has to be home and taken care of 24/7.
Yep.
So, Ed's continuing to do everything he normally does, plus take care of his mother, and at this point now he still has no like social interaction outside of this home life, except for like his small little trips into town for stuff.
Yeah,
And,
going to the hardware store.
Yeah, which
you
was
know,
a frequent thing for him.
correct.
And
Which is also sets it up for
right. And then eventually, some time goes by, but they go to one of their neighbors they were buying straw from or something, and I think his last name was Smith, and they show up and he's there abusing a dog, like essentially killing a dog, and a woman comes out of the house, and instead of Augusta getting upset over the fact that this guy is literally killing and torturing a puppy, she's upset that there's a woman coming out of the house that's not Smith's wife and saying that she's a harlot, she's a sin, you can't be here. Like literally goes insane and then has another stroke. And like trying to tell Ed like that you do not let stuff like this happen. You don't want a woman like this in your life. You don't even know these people. But
Yeah.
that was how passionate she was in her ideologies and religion.
yeah.
And so then Augusta Gein had passed away at this point. So now, this is where things get really dark, because now Ed is now living alone in the farmhouse. He boards up his mother's room as it was when she died.
Yeah, he was
And-
like living in one. He was in the kitchen and like
Yeah,
one
and
other
part of the
room,
living room,
and that was
yeah.
like it.
Yeah, the rest of it was
he
just like
left
boarded
it
up.
as it. Yeah, he boarded up windows and all kinds of crazy stuff.
And so this is where like not only did he have no social life, but now he's reading into like pornography. He's reading like old like horror, some Nazi journalism,
Yeah,
and stuff about
some of the
Nazi
stuff.
ways, learning taxidermy,
Yeah.
all this kind of stuff. And then he starts grave robbing. So now, and through the real reports and how he was portrayed, that he was digging up women that were recently deceased, and essentially harvesting their body parts, heads, hearts,
Ears,
vulvas,
nipples,
making like clothing and items for his house. Like
Yes.
he would take off the tops of skulls and create bowls.
Yeah.
that he would eat out of.
Yeah,
Mounting heads on the walls,
Yeah.
creating skin masks,
skin masks. Yeah,
and then some clothing too, like from their
yeah,
torsos and legs, and
yeah.
which is this, if you at this point, if you don't want to listen anymore, we understand, because it gets pretty grim. But and yeah, and like just in like he had like a box of noses under his bed. He
What was the body part that he made the belt out of? Was that ears?
there were nipples on it.
Oh, it's the nipple. The
Yeah,
nipple belt.
human nipples on the belt.
Yeah.
And like skin lampshades, furniture, like anything that he could do. And like
Yeah.
and with all this time he had, he used a lot of time and like learned his craft and enjoyed it.
He's really good at making skin lampshades.
Yeah.
Human skin lampshades.
And it's really sad, like, and I'm not defending him in any way, but it's just sad to like think about this guy's already like secluded in his house alone without his mother now.
Yeah.
And in his mind, essentially, she was never gone. And the women he's digging up are middle-aged women that resemble his mother. So in a way, he's trying to keep her alive. So, and then he finally he gets to a point where he they in the show they romanticize it because he didn't actually have a relationship with this woman. I think her name was like Bernadette Warren or something.
Yeah, was this the woman that ran the hardware store?
So there was
Because that was the first one. Was that the first person that they found that he had murdered? Was the lady that owned the hardware store that they would go to, that he would go to frequently?
yeah, one was she was Molly
Yeah,
Molly Hogan.
yeah,
Yeah. So she's the one that he initially was how he was caught.
right.
So he this was the point where in Plainfield, Wisconsin, it was like deer season. So the town was pretty empty. It was already a small town to begin with. And he goes and he was always, he's still like every week he was in there buying something.
He was in the hardware store like religiously.
Yeah.
So it wasn't odd for.
And he had like a friendly
him to be-
relationship with her.
Right.
Like
yeah.
as a customer.
Yeah, they
you
knew
know?
each other, right?
Yeah. And no one ever suspected anything of him, but
Right.
Hogan's son, who's part of the law enforcement, he had noticed that Ed was showing up a lot and like kind of irritating her, and Ned didn't think anything of it. Well, the one day where everyone was out deer hunting, he went into town to see Molly again, and then he had asked to see one of the rifles on the wall, and oddly enough, he brought the right caliber bullet with him for that weapon and loaded it and shot her in the back of the head while she wasn't looking. So instantly killed her behind the counter, dragged her body out, took it home. And then, so before we get to that part, the next morning, people had reported that they'd seen Ed's truck there.
Mm-hmm.
And so the local sheriff and her son
But
walked
again,
in there.
not necessarily out of the ordinary
No,
because he was
exactly.
always there.
Right.
Right.
So they go in, they find a pool of blood behind the counter. I think he had taken the register. I don't know if that was real or not, but they couldn't find her at this point now. So they went to Ed's house to question him and everything, and he denied everything. And then Frank was like, "I'm telling you, like, because they found a receipt, and it had Ed Gein on it because they would write handwritten receipts back then.
Mm-hmm.
So he was the only person. He was the last person seen there. They had a receipt, so they went to his house,
Mm-hmm.
and this is where the case blows up because they go into his house. I mean,
Yeah.
there's everywhere you walk, there's just some kind of makeshift item, body parts.
Yeah.
They found, buckets of organs. They found hearts, heads on the wall, skin suits, the preserved vulvas,
Yeah.
which like that, why that's even a thing. And so they take him in for questioning because they did find Molly Hogan's body like headless in the barn, or no, that was in the show. In the real case, they found her in the house, strung up like a deer and like totally
It was
cut
like-
open.
Yeah. It's like bleeding her out.
Yeah, and they only found her because one of the cops had like bumped into something because the house was so dark. He had
Yeah.
everything boarded up, and he bumped into like something, and it was her just hanging from the ceiling. In the show, they do it in the barn to make it a little more,
Yeah.
but yeah. So he's brought in.
And
And-
crazy thing though, like the decapitation thing.
Yeah,
Again, a fairly common theme. We talked about Ed Kemper. He did
Yeah.
that. Jeffrey Dahmer did
did
that. Yeah.
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 Yeah, and what else is disturbing? When he was questioned about like the decapitation, everything, he knew like the type of saw blade that would be the right kind of blade to make it an quote unquote easier job, which is just the fact that someone would know that is just really disturbing.
Yeah.
But But he only there was only 2 women he had confessed to killing, and he said that he was mostly grave robbing, and even at that time he didn't remember most of it.
I was going to say that. Yeah, I was going to say that exactly that. Like he didn't have recollection of actually doing that.
Yeah. And then, so after all that, he passed lie detector tests. The doctors and between the doctors and police and everything, they said he wasn't fit to see trial, and they declared him medically insane, and then was put in an institution for the rest of his life, basically.
Yeah.
They did try. I think he tried to get on trial later on down the road at one point, but because of the state of his mind, and at this time in the country, mental health and all that stuff was kind of just surfacing, like on like real scientific terms. Like,
Yeah.
they declared him paranoid schizophrenic, which no one had ever heard that term before. But that's what he was, and
Yeah.
it's a really sad. Well, it's not sad. It's really messed up.
It's
but
messed up.
ultimately, he, and then in the show they portray a lot of things like he helped out the FBI catching Ted Bundy and like all these other things that never actually happened.
Yeah, that didn't happen.
But
But
and then like all these other serial killers like idolize that was, he never actually interacted with any other serial killers.
right.
But he did. I think he was in his 70s. He'd ended up dying of cancer in the institution.
Yeah.
But what a crazy.
Yeah, really like a really really crazy story. And
And then,
all of
like-
them are like and I know the interesting thing is like a lot of this stuff took place like pre-DNA period, where today there's so much technology out there and the science is out there that I feel like somebody being able to get away with that in today's world would be very, very difficult.
Yeah.
Like really difficult.
Yeah, with all the cameras.
Yeah, and you got like
DNA.
all of the you have the all the like what do they use the black light stuff to like
Yeah.
even if you like clean up blood you can still
Still
tell
get
that
it.
it was there because
Right.
of the like the
Yeah,
the
UV,
makeup of blood
all
and all this stuff and it's like they didn't have all this stuff
No.
then or even during like the Ed Kemper time frame, Jeffrey Dahmer time frame, none of that
Yeah.
that didn't exist. So it's like the police work was a lot harder to piece
Yeah.
together, to put together.
Yeah, and like speaking of piecing together, it took them a while with the autopsies, trying to piece together these women and
Yeah.
bodies that they found.
The only the one weird part of that. There's a lot of weird parts of that story. The part that I guess from my perspective that I have a hard time. That I like when I had done some research on this. He had done his grave robbing thing several times. I don't
Yeah.
remember how many times.
I think
it
they
was
counted like 30 or 40
yeah.
times.
So, but the weird part of that is like, and I guess it's because he was doing it at graves that were just where people had just recently been buried.
So the ground was
So
soft.
it was easier like for him to like to dig that up
And then put
and
stuff
put it
back.
back to make it look like nothing ever
Right.
happened.
Yeah.
That's like crazy.
Yeah, and then eventually he stopped putting bodies back.
Yeah, right.
In the beginning, he was always like covering up his tracks and like putting stuff back. But
Uh-huh.
it's so. They said by the end of it was just so like there was a lot of like demonic signs to what he was doing, in a way, and like that he was just so obsessed with his mom and how she raised him, and like it was always women. He never. He never actually killed another man or anything except for his brother.
The same,
And
that,
really it was his only kill for like 10, 15 years.
that was
and
the same
then-
thing with Ed. He
Yeah.
killed his grandfather, and he only killed his grandfather because he had to.
Right.
He was. He told after he did that. Reportedly, he called his mom and said, "I just wanted to know what it was like to kill grandma."
Oh my God.
It's like what?
Jesus.
But then he's like, "Well, grandpa came home and I had to kill him too."
yeah.
Otherwise, that probably wouldn't have happened.
Jesus.
So another wild one, and then this one is really I do have to get my notes for this one because there's a lot of like wacky stuff here. A lot of people are probably familiar with the BTK killer, bind,
Yeah.
torture, kill.
Yeah.
Guy's name is Dennis Rader. So this all happened from like I think it was the early 70s, like 1974, something like that, through 1990.
Okay.
He killed 10 people. Interestingly enough, the first time that he murdered anybody, he murdered an entire family of 4 people, a mother, father, and 2 children. And then from that point on, it was women. And this is a guy who was very involved in his community. He was like very active in the church, did like Cub Scouts because he was like into, hunting and fishing
Right.
and all that kind of stuff. So he was like big into all that kind of stuff. But I guess when he was a kid, he was like doing cross-dressing and stuff like that.
Okay.
And he was into zoo sadism, which is like torturing and killing animals,
Yeah.
which is another thing
Another
that's
common thing.
pretty common.
It starts off young.
Yeah. But what was like crazy about it was like this went on for a period of he killed most of the people that he killed was up at like from 74 to 79. And then he didn't, there was like 7 years that went by, he didn't kill a person. But his family had absolutely zero idea that he was doing this. It's almost like the John Wayne Gacy thing,
Yeah.
where that dude was like killing people and burying him under the basement of his house. His wife would go like, something smells funky. He's like, yeah, I think the sewer line or something. I'll take care of it,
Oh my God.
But his family had no idea he was doing this. And what he started to do was that he would send letters. He was sending letters to the newspaper, like taunting them, saying, you can't catch me, kind of stuff. And then I said, so then in like right before he killed that next person in like 1986, because he killed like a person in 1986 and then the last one was like 1990. But around that time frame, somebody came out, there were 2 brothers, and they came out and said they were the ones that were responsible for killing that family that he killed. And he was like, nah. So he starts sending the letters now to the police.
Oh my gosh.
Like, they didn't do it, I did it, and you're never going to catch me kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so this period of time goes by where he's taunting the police. He's sending them letters and saying, hey, go pick up this package. I left a box in the back of this pickup truck at the Kmart or something like that. So there'd be women's underwear or necklaces, or he would put floppy disks in there with like pictures and stuff.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, this is a guy, he had 2 children. They had no idea he was doing this. None. His daughter, she's just now come out recently, like telling her side of the story. Like she gets like after she's like grown up, she's gotten married, she's got a family, she's living in this happened in Kansas, she's living in Michigan or something. It's a knock on the door and they're like, just wanted to let you know that we've arrested your father. And she's like, what? Yeah, he's killed 10 people. And she's
Yeah.
like, what are you talking about? Like, no idea.
That's crazy. I think I heard something about this recently too.
Yeah,
Like that exact thing.
Yeah, she's doing like I think there's a show that's coming out or is out, her telling the story.
Oh, okay.
Like she,
Maybe that's what I
she
heard
makes
about.
she makes some allusions in her interviews with people that like my dad was kind of like, looking back on it now, there are signs that when you were 14 or whatever, you didn't pick up on. He was like super controlling.
Right.
He was one of these guys that was very letter of the law kind of guy.
Okay.
Like I guess one of the jobs that he worked for like a security company, and he had a nickname. I think they called him By the Book or something like that was his
Okay.
name, because it
Yeah.
was like he would like get on people for like screwing around during work hours or talking
Yeah.
or laughing, and just everything had to be, these are the rules.
Yeah.
And he was that way with his family. Like, this is what we're going to do. This is when we're going. All this kind of stuff. Had some anger issues, but nothing he wasn't abusing anybody in his family.
Right.
He wasn't hurting his wife or doing anything.
Isn't it crazy that someone like that could manage to live a normal family life while doing all that?
Yeah, and being that known in the community, like apparently he was like a deacon in the church. He was
My
like,
God.
and crazy thing is, like, when he was interviewed, they asked him if he believed in God, and he goes, "Of course I do." And they go, "Well, do you pray?" And he goes, "Of course I do, every day." He's like, it was almost like he was able to like compartmentalize it. Like,
Yeah.
that stuff was a different person almost. Like he would never refer to those things as like being ungodly or demonic or terrible or anything like that. He was like, I'm a godly person. I pray. I do this. I believe in God. Go to church every Sunday. I'm active in church, and all this stuff is like it's just like he was able to somehow completely separate the two things, which is just, I mean, John Wayne Gacy was very similar.
Yeah.
He was a guy that was super involved in like the JCs or something.
Yeah.
He won like a JC Man of the Year award. He was
Yeah.
like in the Chicago area, and he won like some big award and everything. Meanwhile, he's got 33 people buried in his basement.
Yeah, and dressing up as a clown on the weekends and
But going, doing parties and
yeah,
stuff,
like-
and being involved in the community. And it
Yeah.
was just like,
And one thing I forgot to bring up earlier, speaking of being involved in the community, Ed Gein was oftenly hired as a babysitter,
oh my,
which is another like really dark thing to think about. Like, wow, my child, like he babysat my child, or he babysat me when I was X amount years old.
Oh my
Like,
God, could you imagine that?
I can't even imagine.
Can you imagine that?
And like people vouched for him in town because everybody thought he was just this nice.
And that's a
You know.
thing though. But like, if you look at a lot of, a lot of them across, like Ed Kemper was the same way. I mean, he was like,
Ted Bundy.
he's like a normal dude. Like he had a job. Meanwhile, he's got this other life that nobody had any clue that he was kidnapping college age kids and women and killing them.
Yeah, yeah. Like with Ted Bundy,
Ted Bundy, yeah,
he had some issues growing up to where he also like hated women. Was like his whole drive for this whole thing.
Yeah.
But he was a really nice guy. He had this really good charisma. He was a handsome guy, and women and people loved him.
Yep.
But then he would do this thing where he would like lure people, like lure young college and probably high school girls. Like he was injured or he was hurt, and then he would attack them and put them in his car and take them somewhere and do
Kind of like that Buffalo Bill in
Yeah,
that scene in
exactly.
Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah.
Where he's got his arm and from, would you
Yeah. And then like Ted
need
Bundy
some help with that couch, mister? Would you?
and like his whole trial and everything, he escaped prison twice.
Yeah. And they
Which
took him wasn't the first person that he murdered was it Washington, Oregon, something like that?
Yeah.
And then he was going east. And they eventually caught him in Florida.
Florida is where he
Yeah.
was tried.
Yeah.
Because that's where they got the death penalty, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, for him. Yeah.
Because he was like, I'm just taking off and then like killing people along the way. It's just like,
Yeah. It's so
It yeah, it's just amazing to me that it's amazing to me, number one, that a person can do those things and then no one ever suspects it. It's not like this person is like some outwardly like a monster, like has all these like wild personality traits where you go, that dude's got a fucking problem.
Right.
These people are not like that.
No.
And then internally in their mind that they can like separate it like that. It's
astonishing.
wild.
Yeah, and like, with Jeffrey Dahmer, he was another one that like, even when it came to like the killing part, he didn't even enjoy that part of it.
No.
He did. It made him sick, and
Yeah.
he didn't even like that. And he somehow always trapped these young guys.
Yep.
Like he was doing modeling pictures, or he was wanted to hang out, or like
Yeah,
do
just-
drugs or
yeah,
whatever. And
yeah.
it was like the 70s, right?
Yes.
70s, yeah.
Yep.
And for 13 years, he was just meeting young guys, picking up young guys on the hitchhikers, and killing them,
Yeah. Going to like,
drinking with them, and then killing
going to
them,
like the gay
bars
and
and
stuff like that.
and then
yeah.
having guys at his house, and like
Yeah.
his house always smelled really bad,
Mm-hmm.
and like he had a really
Says
bad
they had bodies in the fridge.
yeah, and to like kind of, because we don't everybody knows Jeffrey Dahmer's story, but when he came back from the military and then got an apartment again in Milwaukee, Tracy Edwards was the final guy that got him caught.
Yeah.
And Tracy Edwards came back to his apartment. He smelled. His neighbor always complained about smells.
Yeah.
People in the building
Oh,
always complained about
right,
it.
right.
And then Tracy, same thing. And then started to see things in the apartment and got a weird feeling and tried to escape.
Yeah.
And then Jeffrey already had him handcuffed, and
Yeah.
they managed to get the police to come back, and they found a horrible scene of things that he had.
And a really common theme with most of them is they had some sort of like really abnormal childhood. I don't want to say messed up,
But there was like deep rooted things that
like Jeffrey Dahmer. If I remember correctly, his parents, like his dad traveled for work or
Yeah.
something, and his mom would like he would just be at home alone, right?
Right.
Same thing with with Dennis Rader, the BTK killer. Same thing with his both of his parents worked when he was growing up, and he was just at home, like getting into God knows what, all kinds of weird shit.
Yeah.
Obviously, yeah, it's just
Yeah, it's so crazy. And like, hearing all these stories, and this is a funny thing I want to just point out, because this isn't my time period, but I always see these funny things, how people are like, yeah, when I grew up in the 60s and 70s, we could leave our doors unlocked and we could stay out till after bars.
Uh-huh.
Come home with a sack of just like full candy bars.
Full blown Snickers,
Yeah,
Butterfinger.
yeah, all king size.
I don't need them snack size.
No.
Give me some real, man.
It was awesome, and
You always had the people. Always had the people. We're giving out apples.
or raisins.
We had a dentist in our neighborhood.
Oh God,
What do you think he gave out? Toothbrushes.
toothbrushes,
Yeah, come on, dude.
floss,
Yeah, come on.
toothpicks.
We're like, who's like first year that I remember first year we went there and he gives us toothbrushes and we're like, who? What?
yeah,
And then my mom goes, oh yeah, that's Dr. So and so. He's a dentist. I'm like, we're never going to his house again.
nope.
We're gonna doorbell ditch his ass.
Oh man. And one thing I love about Halloween is like, early on it was a more of a children's holiday, but over time, especially when it was modernized in the US, like it became also an adult holiday.
Yeah, it's a big.
It's so big here.
I literally was just reading something about this not that long ago, talking about the amount of money that gets spent during Halloween because adults are into it and
Right.
parties and
Yeah.
every the breweries and the bars and the restaurants and all these places that have big Halloween parties and
Right.
the revenue that they're saying it's like the second biggest holiday behind Christmas.
I believe
And what's behind that is St. Patrick's Day.
That's crazy. Yeah, then when you think about certain places in the country, like California has was it called Halloween Town? It's open all year round.
I don't know.
I think that's what it's called.
Okay.
It's a Halloween store that is
Oh, okay.
open full
Okay.
year.
Uh-huh.
It's huge, and they don't just sell like regular costumes; they sell everything.
All kinds of wild stuff.
like
yeah.
people that want to buy like real props and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
And then you think about Salem, Massachusetts, probably one of the biggest Halloween areas in the country this time of year.
One place that I would think that I would like to go sometime. I have been to Salem, Massachusetts. Not at
I
at
feel like
Halloween
Halloween
time.
would be sweet.
I was not there at Halloween time, but is North Tarrytown, New York, or the town that with the Headless Horseman,
Oh yeah,
Leary? That was North Tarrytown.
yeah. Where Sleepy Hollow's based off of.
It's called Sleepy Hollow now.
is
It
it?
was called North Tarrytown at one point in time, but
Okay.
yeah, now it is called Sleepy Hollow. But
That's
yeah,
cool.
that'd be kind of neat to see that whole
Yeah,
area.
That would be awesome.
I always loved that story. I always loved that little Disney short.
Oh, the
that
Ichabod Crane.
Yeah, I always
it's
loved.
so
I always
good.
just loved that, like that depiction of it.
Me too.
I just
'Cause
thought
it's
it was
like
great.
it's like 45 minutes.
Yeah, it's like a little short.
It's a
little
short.
movie. Yeah,
Because I think they combined those. It was Ichabod and Mr. Toad was the
Yes.
stories.
Yeah.
So it was the Wind and the Willows. And
Wind in the
Sleepy
Willows
Hollow.
and the Sleepy Hollow
Yeah.
Headless Horseman story.
So good.
Yeah, always loved that
Love.
depiction. Of it. Have
I
you ever read the actual story?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
really
so good.
cool.
It's one of my favorites.
And I do like the Sleepy Hollow depiction that has Johnny.
I did
Depp
just
in it.
watch that a couple weeks
I
ago.
like that
Yeah.
too. It's like a little weird at times.
Is that a
but
Tim Burton movie?
It is.
Okay, because
Yes.
I watched it like 2 weeks ago.
It is. Yes.
And I was like, man, this, yeah.
Yeah, that is a Tim Burton movie. But I always absolutely loved that Disney.
The Disney one
As a
is
kid,
the best
I
version
just
of it.
loved that one. I was like, this
And
is
it's
so
old.
freaking- Oh yeah,
It's
That
like
that's
probably from
like probably the late '60s, early
the
'70s.
yeah, something like that.
something like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
that's
I
a
always
good movie.
absolutely freaking love that one because it's like Ichabod Crane. It's like this dopey dude.
Yeah.
He's on that like broke ass
Little
horse. And, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and then I forget the guy's name that like torments him the whole
Oh
time.
shoot.
The big like
yeah.
he's almost like Gaston.
That's what's coming
But,
to mind. I know that's not his
What's
name.
his name?
Oh,
It's like
my
John
God.
something or
It's hold on, I got to look it up now because
But-
I just have to remember the guy's name.
I love that story because I don't even think he talks in the entire movie. He just like makes some noises here and there. But-
yeah.
And then when like they send him off from like after the Halloween party and like the whole sequence of him in the woods
Yes.
being chased by the headless horseman is just so good.
Yes. Hold on a second. I'm close.
His name's on the tip of my tongue. I can't even.
Me too. Me too. Hold on. Here we go. Hold on.
It's like some,
oh my gosh, I can't even believe this. I can't.
Yeah, he
Oh my gosh.
and he sings that song about the headless horseman.
Yeah.
Um,
So
Ichabod.
So this is saying that this movie that came out and that was from 1949.
Holy crap! Yeah, it was 49.
Holy moly! There he is, right there. What's his freaking name?
Yeah. Cast. Here we go. Mr. Toad. Story of Ichabod. Oh, that's the narrator.
They had like the Vaughn something or others. Remember?
Oh yeah.
That was their name. The Van something or other. What the heck? Brom.
Brom, is that his name?
Brom. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That sounds right.
Yes.
Are you familiar with the Wind in the Willow story too?
I am. Yeah.
That's a really good one.
Yes, that is a good one.
And in that movie, that's the first film you get to see. But I might watch those tonight. Those are so good.
Yeah.
I used to have the VHS, and I might still have it.
Of which one?
It's both of them.
Yes, I had that too.
Yeah.
Years and years ago. Yeah, that was a Tim Burton movie.
But it is on Disney Plus now.
Oh, is it?
It's on there, yeah.
Sweet.
Because I was looking for the Black Cauldron recently, and that's on there too, which is another old one.
Yeah.
That came out, I think, in like the 40s or 50s
Why
too.
is this not telling me his actual freaking name? Like the character's name, Brom.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I think it's
We got too much dead air out here.
I know.
Okay, here it is. Brom Van Brunt.
Brom Van Brunt. That's what he looks like.
Classic, yeah.
Yeah.
Right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brom
Yeah.
Van Brunt.
Yep.
Very much,
He's like Gaston's little
very
brother.
much the Gaston character
of
from
the
Beauty and
story.
Beast. Yes,
Yeah.
very much so. Like the big
Yeah.
burly guy wants the girl, is a total douchebag.
Yeah.
He's got like the little sidekick.
Yeah.
That little little dude. Yeah.
Crazy.
So that's on Disney Plus now.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta watch that.
I know.
I freaking love that.
It's a classic.
Love it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad we lightened it up a little bit as we
Yeah,
went on,
I
'cause it
figured
was
we
getting
probably
a little-
needed to get a
little
palate
dark,
cleanser after all the
a little dark and dirty
horrible
there for a while.
things we talked about. So,
Yeah.
yeah, and if you guys like this kind of stuff, if you're into like the true crime side of this whole thing, Morbid podcast has really good in-depth episodes of like all of these guys. So if you ever want to hear like a full story breakdown of like Ed Gein or John Wayne Gacy, they talk about it.
Yeah.
They do a good job at that.
Yeah.
So,
what I've always been intrigued by, and I is like trying to, as you listen to these stories and you get it more into the details of their lives before they did this stuff, it's always intrigued me, like what were trigger points,
Right.
Or
Yeah.
when you look back at it, right? When it's happening, you're going, this guy's a freaking lunatic,
Yeah.
right? But kind of seeing those correlations and those similarities across the board with them, it's very interesting.
because it always raises the question of like, were people born this way? Is there a science behind it, or is it just pure evil?
Yeah, you're right.
And I think depending on the person, it could be either or.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know?
I think no matter what, I think there's evil behind it.
Yeah.
In how that manifests itself, I think is obviously slightly different. But you're right. Like, was a person born that way, or were all of these factors about what their childhood was like? Did those things contribute?
Yeah.
Because that's certainly how it's in modern TV shows and movies and stuff. That's how it's depicted. Like,
Right.
hey, this kid had this horrible childhood, as the Menendez brothers or whatever,
Yeah.
that whole story. And those are the things that contributed to a person being like this. And it's like, I think maybe that's true, but I also think there's like a mental health side of it that is like not normal.
Yeah. And I think, some that were, depending on how they were treated, maybe it's like some kind of sense of power they want to have over somebody, and then like killing someone is like that power that they get from it.
Yeah.
Maybe they were powerless as a child.
Well,
and,
that's
like,
that Zoo sadism thing we talked about. Like that's it. Jeffrey Dahmer was doing that too. Like squirrels and
Yeah.
crap. And I knew a kid. I don't know if he did any of this stuff, but I knew a kid when I was like 10 that was like doing shit like that.
Like killing animals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like,
Like killing like rodents and stuff.
yeah, like
yeah.
squirrel or
Squirrels and
mouse or
birds.
frogs.
Yeah.
And at the time, you're kind of like, again, I don't know, is that cool? No, I don't really think so, but okay.
I knew someone like that too, and it's like back then it's like, oh, were they like just because they were quote unquote like they grew up as like hunters, or was it more
Yeah.
of like a sport thing, or were they just being cruel, like, you know,
Yeah.
I don't know,
But
like shooting rabbits and like squirrels and stuff.
yeah, well, and I mean,
know.
I guess, look, if you're a hunter and you're shooting rabbits and you're shooting squirrels and you're like eating the meat,
Yeah, like doing something
all right.
with it. Yeah,
I mean,
that's-
I have no
No.
issues with that. That's fine.
yeah,
Lord knows we have plenty of rabbits and squirrels out there, but when you're like torturing them and doing
Yeah,
that kind
no.
of weird stuff, like that's
that's messed up.
a whole different thing. That's tough for me to get my head around.
Yeah, and like how that stuff essentially led to some of the worst people in history.
That. Right.
You know,
Right. Yeah, and so many of these guys we talked about too had these like very different relationships with their mother.
with their mothers. Yeah,
With their
Like
mothers.
the quote for Ed Gein is like, a man's best friend is his mother, or a boy's best friend.
Boy's
is his
best
mother.
friend is his mother.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like that's a horrible thing to ingrain into a child.
Right.
Like a mind that's so fragile and still developing. Like she told him only a mother could ever love you. Like you said that to a boy.
right.
Like, and then you do all these things to make him not like women, to the point where he, once you pass away, is trying to keep you alive because you
Right.
brainwashed him.
Right.
And even at one point believed that he might have wanted to be a woman himself. But
Same thing. BTK killer. Same thing. Was like into cross dressing
right.
as as a kid,
Yeah.
and it's like weird,
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's
The
just, like,
psychology behind it.
the psychology behind it is
thing,
like
you know?
fascinating to me, because it's like I've always thought that, you know, being in war aside,
Mm-hmm.
okay, put that aside, but the killing somebody is not normal.
No.
Okay. So whether or not you think you're justified in doing it, it's still not normal.
Right.
Like, you know, to the point where you're in an altercation with a person that you're so enraged that that's your reaction,
Yeah.
is like, yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. And like to top it off with what I talked about right in the beginning, Anemone, you know, Daniel Day-Lewis's character was in the war and he killed people, and his son grew up, and I think the altercation was he almost killed someone in a fight. He has like bloody knuckles. They don't ever show it, but like you assume that they basically made it known that like he was going to kill someone. And this is a child who grew up without his father, doesn't know his father, and there's some kind of home life issue,
Yeah.
you know,
Right.
that is like unresolved.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, and I mean, I don't want to get like, well, I'm going to go there anyway. You know, I think it says all of this stuff we're talking about really says that there speaks to the importance of family and the importance of mother and father figures, and the importance of having both available to kids.
yeah,
Because whether you're raising boys or girls, they both have, a mother and father both have impact on that child
yeah,
in terms of the lessons that they learn and how they learn. You know, they talk about, you know, when boys are growing up and seeing how their dads treat mom,
yeah,
shows a lot about how to treat women,
Right.
right? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so I'm just saying that I think that it explains or solidifies my belief in the importance of that in kids' lives.
Yeah. Because the mind is ultimately molded by a certain age.
Sure.
And if all of that influence is in the younger part of your life,
Yeah.
that's all you know once you're older.
Right.
Unless you have any other influences in your life.
Right. Exactly.
And, if you're taken away from social interaction and education and even just like being out in the
and
public
just experience.
and experience
Right?
on your own,
Right.
if that's all stripped from you, what do you know?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, after high school, that's the time for young adults to go live their lives and experience life on their own.
And the crazy part is, right, like you get out of high school and that's like you go out, whether you go to college or you just you do whatever, but you're out of the house and your brain is still developing
Yeah.
for till they say till you're like 24, 25. Amazing thing that like we have this cutoff in our society. It's like, okay, you got out of high school, so now you go to college and you're off in the world.
Yeah.
Or you go and you get a job, you go to do trades or whatever you do. But college is sort of like that pivotal, or end of high school is that pivotal time, and you're still mentally developing.
Right. Yeah.
Kind of crazy to
It
think
is.
that
Yeah.
you don't know shit about anything. And
Right.
it's like, okay, I got to do all this shit on my own.
Yeah. And you think you do it
You
first.
think, well, of course, we all thought
everyone
we did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well,
All right.
I guess we'll end it here.
Okay.
Well, thanks for listening today, guys. Happy Halloween. We're getting into the winter months here soon. It's getting cold.
Oh, yeah.
So-
Today was freaking miserable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sheesh.
All the rain and the cold weather and
Rain
everything.
and cold.
But yeah, thanks again for listening. Checking on Spotify, YouTube. Give us likes, comments, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.